Hi everyone, Amanda here. Welcome back to my book nook. So today we're going to be discussing Send for Me by Lauren Fox. Send for Me has two aspects of point of view with this, but the majority of the book focuses on Annalise. Annalise is a Jewish woman living in pre-World War II Germany with her parents, and she works in their bakery with them. A good bulk of the story is showing her life and development through living through pre-World War II Germany, including the rise of Hitler, and her relationships with her family, with people that with men that she's attracted to, and with her friends. The first person in the story that outside of her family that you meet is the guy that you're thinking, okay, this is the one that she's going to end up being in her relationship with. It's a friend of hers from school that she's attracted to, and she believed he was attracted also with her. He ultimately, though, ends up introducing her to the person who becomes his wife. The end of that chapter relays her years later looking at lists of Holocaust victims and seeing him, his wife, and their son listed as members along with other people that she knew. Ultimately, she ends up meeting another man. They end up getting together and married and having a child. Many of her friends are not Jewish, and then you also are seeing in relation to, as time is going on, how her and her parents' bakery start having issues regarding the Nazi Germany, things such as people no longer shopping there, them having to wait in incredibly long lines and being skipped over by other people who got there later at different shops, and seeing people that they know being arrested. Also, some of her friends, again, who were not Jewish, ultimately start cutting ties with her because they don't want her to be a bad influence on their families or her child to be a bad influence on their children. Ultimately, she and her husband end up being able to get passage to go over to America, and the rest of her story aspect is talking about getting used to living in America and everything. Interspaced through all these chapters are snippets of letters that Annalise and her mother are sharing back and forth. At the end of the book, you find out that while names had been changed, these letters were actually the letters that the author's grandmother was sending between her and her mother, who was over in Germany still when they were able to escape, because she's also Jewish and was writing about and was using this to also talk about, in a way, the story of her family. The other point of view that went on through this, I actually could have done without. It's dealing with Annalise's granddaughter, Claire, who she's in her 20s and is kind of floundering in regards to relationships. Like, she sees her friends getting married and everything, and she's will date people, but is really having difficulties with the idea of commitment and everything. She's not found someone that she really wants to spend her life with. And so ends up at one point going to England with this one guy that she's with, and it kind of falters away. I felt that her chapters were very weak, and she was a very small part of the book. I think it would have been completely fine cutting her parts out, because honestly, I didn't feel they added a lot to the story. The main part of it that worked with it is ultimately Claire's mother find the letters that were going between Annalise and her mother while they're cleaning after her grandmother passes away, which is similar, I'm assuming, to what happened with Lauren. But yeah, like I said, those chapters felt weaker because you didn't really feel that connection, or, in my opinion, much care as to what was going on with Claire's life or anything in regards with that. I was very captivated, very interested with everything going on with Annalise. I felt the characters were written better. I felt that the storyline was better written than it was with Claire, which just kind of felt tossed on at the end. if I was just going to be talking about the aspects in which Annalise was focused, I would say it was a good 8.5 story. However, when you add in the Claire aspects, I'm going to drop it to about a 7.5. I really do think that pulled the story back quite a bit. But all in all, it was I felt it was good. Like I said, I could deal without the aspects dealing with Claire, but this is a very well-written own voices story because, like I said, Lauren's writing about what her grandmother went through, including putting in excerpts from letters between her grandmother and her great-grandmother. So yeah, that was Send For Me by Lauren Fox. I hope to see you all next time. Remember to like the video, subscribe so you will find out when other ones happen, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss them when they come up. Thank you, and bye.